Yes, 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 yes. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our viewers across the globe, wherever you are joining us this beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon, first Sunday of the month of June, the year 2022. This is your favorite program, The Comrade and Friends, which one of us here has nicknamed the Sunday Tonic. We are happy to have you here with us again today. First, let me apologize most profusely for our starting just beyond our usual 5 p.m. start time. We have been battling with some technical issues. Hence, we are starting at this time. So my apologies. So please share the broadcast. My name is Dr. Tony Osakpawa Agbonsewafe. I'll be your anchor for today's show. Share this broadcast. Please don't watch it alone. Share across all your network and contact, because we have a very well packaged program for us today. So without much ado, I just want to quickly introduce the team, those that will be, being with us today on this program. And I want to first of all introduce my brother and friend, the one who actually nicknamed this program the Sunday Tonic. I'm talking of Pharmacist Reverend. Please greet our people, my brother.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. It's always a pleasure to be in your company. And to our wonderful viewers, I want to say I really missed the show last Sunday, but I was somewhere, I was engaged. Thank you so much for joining us. Like Tony said, it's the first Sunday of this beautiful month of June. And then in the UK, we are celebrating the Queen's Jubilee. So I want to rejoice with all those citizens and people living in the UK for a wonderful celebration. But your program is back, your darling program is back. And like Tony said, we have a big elephant in the house. And I tell you, don't touch that dive, because the issues today are really great. Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. The man from Utwo, down there in Edo State. I want to also bring on board the face that you all know very well, a very dynamic persona. Talking of our brother, Comrade Lamte Bonsa Oriaki. My brother, greet our people in the local government, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Tony Agbons. Yes, those state people and Nigerians across the world, greetings to all of you. It's the Comrade Show. We're glad to be here. Please, you know what the thing is. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep spreading the gospel, because it's a tsunami and we are moving to a better destination. And that is what all of this is about. Please share, and share, because we have a big elephant in the house, like Austin mentioned. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Agbons.
Thank you so much. Indeed, we have a big elephant in the house. And I want to now have the singular honor and privilege on behalf of the team to introduce, for him to just say hello to Nigerians and everybody worldwide, just to say hello, and then we'll kick on. I have our brother, our father, our big uncle. It's a well-known face in the Nigerian public domain, a great personality, quintessential, polyglot. In fact, I must say it today, he is the original weaver of that word. I actually stole it from him. So credit to, we have Barrister Osa Director. Say hello to our people.
My people, thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here and be with you guys. I look forward to this moment. So I say a very good evening, good morning, good afternoon to Nigerians, wherever you are all over the world. It's been here on the Comrade Show. It's been nice to be here.
Thank you so much, Barrister Osa, Director, our big uncle, for finding time, despite your very, very busy schedule. I'm even aware that you have another meeting right after this show. We really appreciate you, sir. Obokian, sir. For those of you who may not really be conversant with certain things, I just want to introduce, like we always do on this program, just give us a little pen picture about Barrister Osa Director. Who is Barrister Osa Director? Barrister Osa Director was born in Benin City, Edo State. He attended Adolo Primary School from 1970 to 1976. He proceeded He also attended the great Electoral Grammar School, Benin City, between 1976 and 1981. And then he gained admission to the prestigious University of Benin, UNIBEN, where he obtained a first degree in biochemistry. Please take notes, in biochemistry in 1987. As an intellectually ambidextrous personality, OSA director has so far garnered 6 degrees from the sciences, media, management, and law. He is a prominent journalist and lawyer who was incarcerated during the General Sani Abacha military junta. He is a sound apostle of Fawehiminism, and Barrister OSA director believes so much in the style and method of the late Chief Gani Fawehimi. The late Gani was his role model in the legal profession as well. According to Barrister OSA director, his mentor always said that you must use law as an instrument to fight for social justice and galvanize social engineering, which was in tandem with the belief and principle of the first Nigerian lawyer, Sir Sapara Williams, who also felt that the law should be used as a tool to enhance social justice and the rule of law. Please let us meet a great son of Edo State that we are all very proud of. He is an award-winning journalist, a national and international personality, and author of the book, Suicide Journalism. Barrister OSA director is happily married to his beautiful heartthrob, Joyce, and they are blessed with 4 lovely, wonderful children. Barrister Ekme, OSA director, you are welcome to the Comrade Show, sir. You are welcome. Thank you so much, distinguished viewers. We are going to kick off. And my first question to you, Barrister OSA director, is this. We can see that you actually studied biochemistry, but now we know you to be a very legal luminary. So can you just briefly tell us, how did this come about?
Well, as you said in your introduction, law should be used as an instrument of social engineering and reconstruction of society. When I was growing up, it's usually said that the most intelligent guys are the science guys, you know? So, and with every sense of modesty, I felt I'm not a dunce, so I should be counted among the intelligent guys. So it was my dream to study sciences. And my parents also felt perhaps I was very astounding in their own assessment. So in that case, I should be a medical doctor. So the dream was, when I was in school, we pride ourselves with studying Fikemba, physics, chemistry, and biology. You know, clutching Hodanis and Lambert, O-level chemistry, and Nekon and Parker, ordinary level physics, and Stoner cousin, biology, chemistry as my first degree. Like I usually joke to people, I read biochemistry and gave the certificate to my parents because they wanted me to study science. So after that, I decided to read what suited my personality and my vision in life, which is to go into law practice, law study. However, I had a very interesting stopgap. So when I was in school at the University of Benin, I wasn't one of those silent people. So I was heavily involved in the students' union struggle, you know. So, and I cherish the position of public relations a lot. So I ended up writing always. And people saw that, well, this guy writes very well. You know, some people will even say, oh, this guy is not a science student. So I think when I finished, I was posted to Kano. When I got to Kano, I was sent to a secondary school in the village. I reported and I told them in that secondary school that I'm not meant to be here. I want to be in the newsroom. So I went back to NYC to request for a reposting. And something very interesting happened. They said they cannot repost me except I find a place for myself. I never knew any person in Kano. I went on the street of Kano. Fortunately, that week, they had published my articles in the then Kyari, the former chief of staff to President Buhari, was the managing director, and it was owned by the late Issa Funtua, you know. So they published my story there, and they've also published my story in the then New Nigeria. Of course, there was no social media then, so those were the giants of this. And just strolling into radio recruiting, the to the director of news, and I introduced myself. He said, "But you are a science student." I said, "Yes, but please, can you just read these 2 articles that were published a few days ago in Democrat?"
Last line is breaking.
And New Nigeria. The man painstakingly read it. And when he finished, he looked at me, looked at the newspaper, looked at me, and then, "This is commendable." So that's how I served in Kano Broadcasting Corporation. And I ended up practicing plan for the struggle for democracy and the late General Sani Abacha military junta. So it was while I was practicing journalism, I had a robust encounter with the late Chief Gani Fawahini. I mean, he was a father, he was a mentor, he was everything. So I usually go to his chambers. And I remember a day we were discussing. He said, "Oh, sir, you read sciences with your knowledge in experimental investigation and your vast network of contact as a journalist. If you read law and have a clear understanding of the concept of the rule of law, you will be a deadly weapon in fighting the oppressed." So I will urge you to study law.
I think we have it.
That was how I said, "Look, I took and decided to
we're having
study of law."
Yeah.
Dr. Tony Agbons, we are struggling to hear Barrister.
Yes, I think EPA, his connection is really poor. I'm sure he will get back to us. So we're just trying to. But before we get Barrister Hausa director back, probably just speak. EPA, your network was wavy towards the end of your opening remarks. So we lost the end bit of your opening remarks. So you have just told us how you moved from the sciences and into journalism, and I've done a lot of study around you, and then you worked with Tear magazine as the Akanu Bureau chief, and then much later you became editor-in-chief of Insider Weekly, which a lot of Nigerians know. We go to the issue before us today, before I bring my other colleagues in. Next week is June 12th, and it will be another huge moment again. But we actually began our democratic journey in 1999. Our democracy, how is it evolving? We want you to throw some light on this, and then my colleagues will also ask you some questions.
Well, as you rightly observed, the struggle for the enthronement of democracy and the rule of law started on June 20. Chief M.K. Abiola, under the Social Democratic Party, contested for election against Bashir Tofa of the National Republican Convention. I covered that election in Kano. It was a day that the elements of the universe decided to conspire in frustrating the shenanigans of General Ibrahim Babangida in trying to embark on the convoluted transition program, which was endless and aimed at deceiving Nigeria in order to perpetuate himself in power. That day, the elements of the atmosphere conspired against him. In spite of all, it was a rainy season. There was no single drop of rain. In spite of the shenanigans and subterranean manipulations of people like Chief Atom Zeribe, under the aegis of Association for Better Nigeria, who went to court and tried to stop the election from taking place, there was peace everywhere. North, south, west, and east. Everybody trooped out in an organized form. And if you remember, it was a kind of option A4, where you line up behind the poster or the party that you want to vote for. So everything went peacefully. And obviously, Chief M.K. Abiola won that election. When they saw that all the forces that they have planted, all the mines that they planted didn't explode to truncate that election, that was when a test statement, an unsigned statement issued from Aso Rock announcing the annulment of that election. That was indeed the catalyst or the precursor of May 29, 1999. We all decided to go into the trenches because we felt that enough is enough. Even if they were holding the guns, we had the pen and were determined to tackle them, and we did tackle them. And between that 1993 and 1999, it was pro-democracy movement and battle to get the military off our backs until you all know the story. In the midst of Indian girls trying to eat apple, and about a month after, Abiola was murdered by forces that felt there should be a balance, you know, and that since he was insisting on his mandate, the only way to have peace was also to get rid of him. Till today, the death of Abiola is shrouded in misery. And after the death of two of them, Abdul Salami came and back on the shortest transition program ever, you know, 10-month transition program. That was where we, the pro-democracy activists, made the strategic blunder. Because we never trusted the military. A meeting was held by leaders of the pro-democracy movement. You had Chief Anthony Nauro leading, I think, Pronaco. You had Chief Gani Fawemi leading JACOM. You have Alawaka Bashoru leading another forum. And they all decided that the military cannot be trusted. So we should not participate in the transition program. But we thought it was just going to be another merry-go-round to make a fool of Nigerians and buy time. That's when we left the opportunity and the stage for opportunistic charlatans, you know, to seize the national stage and take charge of the political levers of Nigeria. And that is why we have found ourselves in a deep mess today, because most of those who are in position of leadership and position of power and authority today never struggled, never participated to ensure that the military were off our back. As a matter of fact, most of them were either silent or collaborators with the military, but today they are the ones who are in power, calling the shots and anointing themselves and calling themselves Democrats. So you can see the manifestation of the militarization of our polity today in their actions, to the extent that today, 29 years after the death of one of the most brutal dictator of our time, Abacha, people are now saying with a sense of regret, or sometimes even nostalgia, that those days were even better than what we have now. And I think that is tragic, that is unfortunate, that is lamentable, to the extent that those of us who were in the front line of the struggle for the entrenchment of this democracy feel highly, highly disappointed. So I would say that Nigeria's democracy, the journey so far, is not what we planned, it's not what we hoped for, it's not what we expected.
Thank you. Pharmacist Remira, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. I want to thank Barrister Osa, Director. I think you've taken us down, you've taken us well down memory lane. And
that will watch all that is, ask myself.
Dr. Tony Agbons, do I have the floor?
Yeah, you have the floor. Yeah, take your question, sir.
Thank you. I want to, on behalf of the team, thank Barrister Osa, Director. I've listened very quietly how you took us memory lane and you reminded me of so many stuff. Now, you've enumerated the evolution of Nigeria democracy from 1999. You also said in clear terms that you think that the democracy movement at that time made a mistake in not getting involved. I want to ask a question if he's still there.
Yeah, I think it's trying to reconnect.
He's trying to reconnect.
But you can discuss that while he's reconnecting.
While we are waiting for him, I really enjoyed this discussion. I pray that network come back, because I think the man is very savvy and is full of a lot to give to our viewers today. Listening to him reminded me of so many things, from where he talked about studying science and reading all those books that we all read, and then how he deviated to go into journalism and eventually being a lawyer, a writer, a journalist, where he is today. Oh, I think he's back. Yeah. Barrister Director, can you hear me? He's muted.
Yeah. Ask your question. He will hear it and then he will pick it up.
Barrister, yeah, my question is just twofold. You said that there was a mistake.
I'm hearing you.
Okay, you said there was a mistake that was made. That is clear. I would always use these words. Must we remain in sin for grace to abound? Now that the mistake has been made, what Nigerians and people like you need to do now to change and correct that mistake? That's my first question. Then, second question I want to ask, most of the people that were in pro-democracy group today are even politicians now. And to me, even worse than the politicians appeared before. If I mention there are so many names there. Even Bola Ahmed Tinubu was once a pro-democracy activist, and many more. What has changed and what do we need to do? The network is not friendly.
Yes, Barrister Osa, Director, can you hear us, sir?
I'm hearing you clearly now, but it was breaking,
Yeah, go ahead. I think his network is gone off.
So can you take off from there while we are waiting for him?
Yes.
I think my area of interest, I actually wanted him to look at how, how we have evolved from 1999 to date. And, look at the possibilities of hope in this whole Nigeria program or project, as it were, if it is sustainable. Because today we woke up to the news that, a very serious brazen act of terrorism was carried out in Ondo State. And that is actually the border state of, Edo State, war. And people allege that Fulani headsmen, attacked a church, killed a lot of people. The same signature we've had, with them doing this same thing, in what's it called, Bauchi State, Medjugorje, and all of that. I'm really cold right now. So given this Nigerian project we're having today and the level of insecurity that is unabating and all of that, I really want to ask Barrister Hausa Director if this Nigerian project is a sustainable one. This Nigerian project, it's one that really we should still believe in. Because at the end of the day, if, with all due respect, we have an Oduduwa, state as a nation, and we have Biafra as a nation, and we probably have the United Kingdom of Great Benin people of the South as a nation, I think that these indigenous people will know how to tackle their level of security and all of that. Because the issues happening with Nigeria today, the level of insecurity, not just with the brazen attacks by uncircumcised human beings as these, even insecurity in our economy, uncertainty in every aspect of our national life and all of that, it begs that some of these questions, we cannot gloss over them anymore, and all of that. So I think that this discussion needs to be on. And it's an area I really want to, everything about the history of our development, how we came from 1960 to date, blah, 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 and all of that. I don't think any of these, actually, to the average man in the street, make any sense anymore. I think the Nigerian project right now should be on the table for discussion. I am sorry to say, because we cannot share those images right now, very gory pictures and videos that came out from Ondo State. My mother attended a church today in Benin City. That could have happened at church. Those are people's mothers, people's fathers, brothers, uncles. In our own South, in our own Southwest, Ondo State of Nigeria. That could be in Anambra State, it could be in Edo State. It's already happening. We're already seeing, So I think right now, there should be, the governors of the South should wake up, because the complacency is getting too much. We cannot, we are having this discussion right now. We are discussing the evolution of Nigeria's democracy. What democracy when people are dying? Who is going to be a Democrat if the person is not alive? People who died today who died this Sunday in Ondo State, some of them are Democrats. Their families are grieving right now. Their friends are grieving right now. Those that have not been attacked are already on the edge. Just over a week ago, or less than a week ago, if I'm not mistaken, what's it called? One of the bishops of the Methodist Church in Abia State was kidnapped, released for a ransom of 100 million. And the man spoke to the event, told the world that some of those, kidnappers, Fulani headsmen, told him, mentioned it, that they have already encamped everywhere around the South, and that they are just waiting for a whistle to unleash attack on everybody. And that signature we're already seeing. And this, late Obadiah spoke to this a couple of years ago. Nobody's taking this seriously. We are discussing elections right now. Many of us are pushing for a change in narrative, pushing for someone like Peter Obi and all of that. If it's not when there is Nigeria, we are going to have the possibility of having this change. I think right now, with all due respect to the topic we have on that discourse, I think right now, the issue of the Nigerian project should be on the table. And the governors we have elected to lead the South, they need, the southern part of Nigeria, they need to put their acts together. just yesterday or so, if I'm not mistaken, the Southwest governors were in a meeting trying to determine who to endorse as the presidential, candidate of the APC. And people don't appear not to see the handwriting on the wall. The northern governors met and they said that the presidency should be zoned to the south because they now know that the PDP has come out with article a northerner. So that if the presidency is zoned by APC to the south, it will not be a fight between certain candidates to divide the certain votes while the north cannot connive, tambuarize the process, just like Tambuwa did with PDP, what's it called, convention that brought out the primaries that brought out Atiku Abubakar. At the end of the day, you are going to see a convergence of all of these northern people to ensure that we continue with the Fulani hegemony, and yet we are insecure. So I think that the issue of the Nigeria project right now, just now, should be on the table. I am really angry. I don't know how really to be civilized the way things are right now. With all due respect, I hope that we
thank you very much, Comrade. We can all feel the frustration we all are, and I think we're just developing the issue as it comes. I think Barrister Outside Director is back on the network now. So we have evolved. This is 2022, and this is where we are. He was just taking us down memory lane, like Pharmacist Remiran said. And all you have said, like what happened today, is a systemic failure that we have. Barrister Outside Director, if you can hear us, sir. Pharmacist Remiran was going to ask you a question. Pharmacist, can you go on with that question?
Yeah, is Barrister with us now?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yeah. Fantastic. Not to waste too much time. I was just saying that in the course of your depositing, you did mention that the pro-democracy group left that space, and that is a regret. So my question is, it has happened now, our democracy is running for just a little over 20 years. What do we need to do now to turn the tide? Given the fact that even many people that played a role in that pro-democracy struggle are now politicians, and they seem not to even be better. Is there any hope in sight? And like Omelante said, should there even be a Nigeria? Have we gained a lot? Have we gained at all? Where are we going to? What is the direction?
Thank you very much. It is only a man that sees Sudan that is hopeless. So we must keep hope alive, and but that is not as easy as that, as it is said. It is not easy to keep hope alive, especially in the face of these daunting realities. The truth is that for a few pro-democracy activists that are in politics, there's little or nothing they can do because they were just merely sucked in. And it has now become like a situation of survival of the fittest that verges on the pursuit of personal interests. That is, I fought for the democracy and we could not enter as a team. If I have to get in, let me see how I can survive. And they make a lot of compromises with those who are already holding the levers of power to give them the space. And so when they get in, they are bound to honor, if not all, at least part of the compromise and commitment that they had with such people. So that's why you see them ignoring even the pro-democracy constituents, that they were part of before, because the pro-democracy movement that fought the military don't even have a base, especially now that Nigerian politics has been so monetized. Let me just give you a simple example. I contested for Senate in 2011. I don't want to go into the shenanigans that happened with Comrade Adams Oshomole, what he did to everyone. However, pressure was on me by those who felt they still want me to go into politics and have something to do. About 2-3 months ago, I went on a wide consultation, with the party leaders, my supporters, and those who have any role to play. Yeah, I can see my poster when I ran under AC in 2011. So the summary was that every one of them, when we take when we came to aggregate what I will need to spend to get the ticket. They said it came to a region of 100 million to 120 million to get the ticket of a party. That is not to fight for the election. If you spend 100 to 120 million to get the ticket, you are not guaranteed of winning, which means you will spend another 100 to 150 to run the election. So you're talking about 250 to 270 or even 300 million. If you spend 300 million to go, not even Senate now, I was ready to step down to go to House of Rep. So if you spend 300 million to go to House of Rep, are you not going in there to recover the money? Certainly you have to, because some people will sell their houses, sell their properties, take loan, and run for election. By virtue of my pedigree, I can do that. Even if by the dint of hard work, I have 10 houses, I can't sell a single one to run for election. For what? Because I want to serve. If anything, I should be encouraged to serve. And you know what? What some of the leaders told me, I said, why do I have to spend a lot? They said, okay, do you know that before now, when those who are interested in any position come, like in the last Christmas, they bought cow, bag of rice, and wedge it, they call it wedge, and wedge it with a minimum of 100,000 and gave to every potential leader. That if I'm going to come in now, I have to first of all do that. That is to equalize or to equate or to get to the position those people have done before I now start spending. So with me, there was a area for me to spend. He said, I'm just laughing because I mean, it was nonsensical. You know, so the politics has been so monetized that it is dreadful for us, even as pro-democracy activists, to think of the prospect of going into the political arena to contest with these people. And that is where we have a lot of work to do. Because at the end of the day, ask yourself, we are talking, who are the people collecting this money? Are they not Nigerians like you and I? Are they not the people you want to go and represent and fight for? They will tell you, please, sir, give me, if you're that, then nobody will say anything from you. It's what I want to see now, at least. If you want, you know, that's what they'll say. Let me just have this for now. You want to set your future, at least the next 4 years, for 5,000 naira, for 10,000 naira, or even for a bag of rice. So it is very, very difficult. At the pro-democracy level, we have met several times, discussed, strategized. It is like a very, very difficult and tall order for us to be able to penetrate and dislodge these people. If we are not able to orientate the masses, the people we will seek to represent, to understand that, so that it is politics of service, not politics of self-aggrandizement. I'm talking about what my brother Comrade said. You see, I like to belong to a Nigeria that is as big as it is now, that is with all the various ethnic groups. But it shouldn't be by force. It has to be a situation where there is mutual respect for every ethnic group in Nigeria. That is, you don't have to use your ethnicity to suppress my own. Like other famous said in the Susan paper, there is nothing wrong with ethnicity or being close or being attached or respectful of your ethnic background. The only problem is when in a multi-ethnic society, a particular ethnic group decide to say that they are superior or they should exercise suzerainty over other ethnic groups and see them as subordinates. That is where the problem is. And that's the challenge we have in Nigeria, where some ethnic groups are seeing others as subordinates and inferior. And that is why what we have been insisting ever since is that let there be restructuring. People will be intellectually mischievous to tell you that restructuring means different things to different people. It depends on who is speaking. That is sheer lie. Restructuring is just fiscal federalism and devolution of power, resource control, as you will call it. That is it. Let every region devote power to the region. Let them grow at their own pace. You and I are product of history. For you to know the kind of country we live in 2003, I wrote an article, The Lessons of History. And it became viral about 10 years after. And what was I talking about in that article? That we are not teaching our children our history. What are we afraid of? What you see in the mirror is a reflection of yourself. So why are you afraid to tell your children? And 10 years after that article, history was removed from my educational curriculum. Who and what are we afraid of? Our children, especially the generation, the NSAS generation, they don't know anything about Chief Abiola. They don't know anything about the struggle of Ganifa Wahini, the Falana, the USA directors, the Odian Khanis. They don't know. And that was why you could see when they were doing the NSAS generation, they said they don't want a leader. Of course, we knew why they said so, because they didn't want to be compromised. But they were not even willing to talk to those who have been there before, to kind of give them support and guidance. Because at some point, we all knew, based on experience, what was going to happen to the NSAS movement. If they had listened and spoken and interacted with some of us, we would have been able to navigate beyond, because that was a moment, a historic moment I was proud of in our country, where the young ones showed courage, showed commitment. But I do laugh. When we were struggling, we didn't have all those kind of privilege that we're having now. Social media. If you shoot one person now, it goes viral all over the world. But those days we are the mercy of the goons of the junta. So summarily, I will say that to answer my brother, the pharmacist, summarily, I'm saying I'm not holding brief for the pro-democracy activists who have gone into partisan politics and have disappointed. But I can tell you to a large extent that it is not their fault. It is just like you have 1 out of 100 legislators being a pro-democracy activist. What is he going to say? But like I always tell them, make your views known so that years to come, when the Hansard is read or made public, people will say, this is what this man said. So we have not been able to strategize to be able to go into the political arena because the politics have been so monetized. And I will say to my brother Lamtree that yes, it is very offensive, it is very daunting to see certain ethnic group try to subordinate over others. However, Nigeria is a better place, it's a more respected country with our size, with our variegated personality and the resources and talent. You know, in the Committee of Nations, they will tell you that the hope of the black man is in Nigeria. So to begin to balkanize Nigeria, we will lose that strength, we will lose that position. All we need to do is to restructure this country to ensure that there's true federalism. Where do you hear in America that all the 52 state governors would drive and gather in Washington, D.C., worshiping at the altar of Joe Biden, looking for handout from Washington? But here, all the 36 state governors go to Abuja to collect handouts coming from the oil from the Niger Delta and now the mining happening in Zamfara and the rest. So this is unfair. This is not the way a nation should be run. If Nigeria is run properly according to the tenets and ethics and ethos of true federalism, we will have no problem. It is just because some of us are lawless, we have an irresponsible political elite and political class. And without a responsible political class, no nation can develop. So we need to ensure that we reoriginate our polity with people who have a sense of commitment, a sense of vision, a sense of direction, a sense of experience that this is what federalism is about and this is what should be done. And everybody should stick to the tenets of constitutionalism and the rule of law. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Comrade, please ask Barrister a question, because there's something I will ask him later. You go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Agbons. Barrister, thank you very much. You've partly answered unsatisfactorily, though, one of the questions I wanted to ask. And that question I still would ask you very directly. Given, we have a nation because we have people. And right now, the people we have, they are dying needlessly. I don't know if you are aware already. In Ondo State, or what to be precise, news broke this morning that a particular church was rounded up you know, and members of that church, you know, they were killed in their numbers. As a matter of fact, some figures flying around is that over 50 persons died in the massacre. Okay, and this massacre is alleged that Fulanis, were the ones that attacked this church. And again, you know, when we look at the historical antecedents of, you know, this terrorism taking place in Nigeria right now, particularly given the signature, you know, of Boko Haram, and that later we now had Fulani Esme and all of that. We checked them from Borno State, from Maiduguri and all of the northern parts of Nigeria. It's exactly the same signature, where they attack villages, round up people, kill them, go to, you know, churches, kill them, go to even mosques, kill people and all of that. With all of this happening, there's a lot of, I imagine the level of fear right now in Ondo State. So we have in Nigeria because we have people. Now the question I want to ask, sir, should we not put this Nigeria on the table right now and discuss whether we really need to have this Nigeria? I understand and I agree with the fact that I'm a proponent of.
Should we not what?
No, I'm asking, should we not put this Nigeria on the table right now, all of us, and begin to discuss, analyze, ask ourselves, do we really need to have a Nigeria? Because right now, having a Nigeria, it's almost meaning like, it's almost meaning like, you know, we are dying because we are Nigeria. And that's exactly what is happening right now. You know, people are dying needlessly because of insecurity. The center can no longer hold. You understand what I'm saying? And we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow and the day after. And that's one question. Now, the second question is this. Today, I don't know where you stand, sir, but I am not shy to let you know that the small glimmer of hope we have for 2023, which many of us believe Nigeria should, you know, take a chance right now, is resting with the candidacy of Peter Obi, you know, of Labour Party. I know there are an array of politicians out there trying to, you know, aspiring to become president of Nigeria, but some of us have pitched tent with Peter Obi, believing very strongly that this man would, you know, make some difference. Where do you stand, and where should Nigeria stand when it comes to 2023?
Well, thank you, comrade. It is very lamentable, it's very pathetic, it's very disappointing that some of the things happening in Nigeria today are things personal. I usually see them and say, oh, this can never happen in Nigeria. You know, you hear them happening in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and some far remote places, you know, but they have become a daily occurrence in Nigeria. You ask yourself, why was Nigeria ever like this? No. Why did it degenerate to this level? It is because of the nature and structure of the Nigerian society. I'm sure you have heard this several times, that the Nigerian president is the most powerful president on earth. The immensity of power of a sitting president, you can only begin to imagine it. And that is why the security and other apparatus in the Nigerian society take on the nature and shape of whoever is in power. As at now, the Nigerian security seems to be comatose, seems to have lost hope, seems to be incapable of fighting what you call a ragtag army. You know. However, if you say this, it might seem like an excuse, but it's also contributory. What am I driving at? The nature of what is also happening around the Sahel region may have also contributed, where you have free flow of arms from Libya and all these other places into Nigeria. But however, it is the failure of the Nigerian state that has a loose border system that is causing all this. You and I, when we were growing up on the streets of Benin, we live in peace and harmony with our Fulani brothers. In short, those days, when we were growing up, we used to excitedly wait for cattle rearers to come and pass. When we sing all kinds of songs, you know, we are at peace with them. Even the president of Nigeria has said it, that these people are foreigners. You and I know that 90% of them are foreigners. The only reason I don't buy that idea that they are foreigners, which is true, is that whether they are foreigners or not is not relevant. what is the Nigerian state doing to checkmate the excesses, the free flow of arms into Nigerian society and the killings of innocent Nigerians? But you ask yourself, have you ever seen or have you ever experienced in a country disintegrating peacefully in modern history? You know how many years it took South Sudan to pull out of Sudan? Do you know how many years it took Eritrea to pull out of Ethiopia? And do you still know what is happening today? So it is not going to be easy for, if we want to go that route, that we should all go our separate ways, for it to happen. The bloodletting is even going to be worse. So that is why those of us who still have a glimmer of hope that there can still be a country, like Chinua Achebe said, there was once a country, and there can still be, and there shall be a country, that look, let us sit down on the table and see how we can restructure this country. We are stronger together if it is anchored on the principle of fairness, equity, and justice. We are better together in terms of strength, in terms of vigor, in terms of human and material resources. However, you will see that the average Nigerian political elite, like I told you, is irresponsible, is desperate. It is when they are losing power, they retreat to their ethnic and religious laggard. They will say, oh, if you are fighting, if a northern brethren is in power and is losing hold and is being criticized, oh, it's because I'm a northerner, it's because I'm a Muslim. If the Southwest man want to do something, he begins to pander to the ethics, to the feelings of pan-Oduduwaism. If it's an Igbo man, he begins to pander to Biafra. If it is those of us from South, he begins to whip out the sentiment of Niger Delta. But when they are enjoying and benefiting from the levels of power, they don't say all this. A simple instance, recently PDP had their presidential election. Former Vice President
we lost his audio there while he's connecting. Barrister, are you Yes, I think while he's reconnecting, I just want to say his comrades and pharmacists, I can see the point that the barrister is trying to really hammer on, and he said it repeatedly. Restructuring, and there's something I want to talk to him about that. But comrade, I see the angle you are saying that with the way people are being killed, eventually we may not even have people that will say, oh, these are Nigerians, because it's only somebody that is alive that can be a Democrat. It's only somebody that is alive that can take part in election. But what I see with this killing, let me just tell you, this is my perception, and people can challenge me for it. What I see in this killing is that these are all politically motivated. That is my own perception. Pharmacist Remira, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I agree with you in part, because when it comes to political season, different things begin to happen. The fact is that the federal government, being led by the president, has not been able to have a grip on this. And every time I ask myself, Tony and Lamty, why is it that we cannot have a grip on our security? Is it that we don't just want to do it? Is it that some are just sympathizers to those causing it? Because it's going on for too long, Dr. Tony. And I would support you in very clear terms. I think there's a political influence in all of this killing. If not, it would have been tamed. The only disadvantage now is that the politicians that have had these killers, they are now coming home to roast them. 2 weeks ago, Komelante lamented on our show following the killing of a legislature in Anambra State. And now we made that broadcast, the next day somebody else was killed as well. They are not coming home. So if you have all these things happening that are wrong, and we have refused to tame them, thinking it's going to be for a certain class, before you know, all of us will be rounded off. It's difficult because I don't think any president now can argue to say that if I win or before winning, I'm going to do this. If you put restructure there, I'm sure you may not have a chance. So probably what we'll be waiting for is to see a leader that believes in it. And as soon as he gets into office, we logically bring it into discussion. Because to be frank, we the elite Nigerians, we are seeing this. Some Nigerians don't even see what we see. That's the pain. So there is so much work to be done, so much education to be done to get to where we are. I think I was reading somebody making a comment today. Is it because Arakuri Akeredolu is one of the APC governors that may not be supporting Tinubu? Could this be? So there are so many insinuations here and there. But the big issue is people are dying. And like Lalante said, would there be a Nigeria without people? The answer is really no. So this has to stop.
Thank you very much. I think barrister for pharmacist for what you have just said. Comrade Lante, I'm coming to you, but I just want to ask the barrister a question. Barrister outside director, can you say hello to us? Are you back on audio now?
So I'm back. I think
yes. Okay. I just want to put this question to you because you have lived in the north. You have lived in the north. If I'm not mistaken, probably you would have stayed there for close to like 7 or 8 years. Can you
14
hear?
years.
Okay, you see, so you lived there for 14 years when you were with Tell magazine. So, when it comes to this restructuring thing, what is the perception over there? And then the second question I want to ask you is that a lot of Southerners believe that the Northerners believe that they are born to rule. You haven't lived there for so many years. Enlighten us, sir. Barrister, can you hear us?
You know this issue of born to rule, and yes, I'm hearing you.
Go ahead, sir.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you, but it's a bit wavy. Go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, go on.
You are hearing me?
Yeah, we are hearing you, sir.
Okay. Well, yes, I lived there for 14 years. The issue is
The barrister's line is line. Barrister, your line, we cannot hear anything. Probably you
begin to hear some of these concepts, you know, they are product of media frame that, like we say in the courtroom.
Go on, sir. It was getting better. Yeah, we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah. You see, when you hear of concept like born to rule, they are product of media framing. You know, like we say in the courtroom, the law is what the judges say it is. That's why you have judges made rule or judges made law. The same way, media is a mirror of society. That's why there's what you call agenda setting principle of the media. And media framing help to shape issues and development in society. So these are products of media framing. I don't think any person with his head properly screwed on his neck will say he is born to rule, or he is born to dominate, or he's born to be subservient. These are all products of media framing. And it has been given a life of its own because it satires the ego, it massages the ego of some of the power players, you know, who are even empty when they get to their home base. This is a country where, when push came to shove, in 1999, the presidency was zoned to the southwest, head or tail, it was going to be to the southwest. Where was the concept of born to rule? Our brothers and sisters in the north realized that, look, this thing cannot continue. The injustice of June had to be addressed, and it was addressed. This is a country where Goodluck Jonathan defeated Muhammad Buhari in 2011. And even Atiku, supported by his northern brothers. He is from the minority of the minority, talking of the political equation of Nigeria. So what I want to always say as a practicing journalist who stay in the north, perhaps like you said, my stay in the north helps to moderate and influence some of my perceptions. Because when I give you a personal example, there are some people I was hard on. I criticize them heavily as a practitioner, a media practitioner. I don't like to interact with them because I knew the influence of personal interaction. By the time you now see them and they are friendly with you, when you pick up your pen, you are going to criticize them. That will be playing in your head. Oh, but this guy was very friendly with me when I met him physically. So I try to distance myself from them in order to maintain that my position. But the truth is that you should also interact. Most of us have this concept about our northern brothers because on a position of assumption. And this thing is also, I want to see you are correct to the extent that some of the political players over there capitalize on this thing just to give themselves a larger than life image. But it is not true. I gave you these instances where Southerners are flawed heavyweights. And I can tell you, come 2023, Atiku is going to be totally flawed. Mark my words, by a certain candidate. He's going to be flawed by a certain candidate. So I don't think, yes, it is there, but it is not as blown, it is not as magnified as it has been done by or on the media space. And it has also been encouraged so by the political players from the north just to satiate and inflate their own ego and the feeling of political self-importance.
Thank you.
I don't know if I answered.
Yeah,
I didn't
very
get
well.
the first part of your question well.
Yes.
So I don't know if I've answered
you have, sir.
your question,
Comrade,
Dr. Tony.
Yes, I think, you have, sir. Thank you very much for that very brilliant answer. Comrade, the Barrister have mentioned, the Barrister have mentioned 2023 already, and he has stated that the Atiku Abubakar will be flogged, in this election, and a certain candidate comes in. I want you to take the Barrister on this 2023 dynamics. Comrade.
Barrister, are you there? Can you still hear us? I knew he was already having a...
So you take on, now we have this permutation now. The PDP have come up with Atiku Abubakar. Now, last night, we saw what the northern governors are trying to do. So this game, I want you to take us into this. What is the thinking?
I think we those of us, from the South, I think we need to be... we need to up our games a bit more. Up our game a bit more. The truth is, the northern political elites, they are more proactive. They understand the Nigerian system. The idea of some people consider themselves born to rule, Barrister Director rightly put. Really, it is something that is actually probably blown out of proportion by the media. But the fact remains that looking at the political trajectory of the Nigerian state, okay, there's no gainsaying the fact that the Northerners have always, been ahead. Whether it is a certain president we have or not, the Northern political elite, they've always, tried to be ahead of those of us in the South. Okay, and this is a well-known fact. I mean, looking at the way things evolve, the way things develop, and all. I mean, Anthony now we read in history, moved the motion for self-government in 1957, and the Northerners looked at the environment and felt that they were not ready. They objected, they opposed that particular move and all of that. That is because the Northern leaders at the time, they were meeting, they were looking at the Nigeria as a state, they were discussing politically. And their discussion was not about anything, but about how to ensure that the Northerners are the ones in charge of affairs as far as Nigeria is concerned. And eventually, you know, when the time was right for us to have a united Nigeria independence, as it were, and all of that, the government of Nigeria was put in the hands of the North and all of that. I mean, are we going to speak to an interview granted to the media by, what is this man's name? I'm trying to remember his name, one of the Northern leaders, who said that the Igbos cannot be given room to rule Nigeria, because if you give them chance, they will take over everywhere. He was speaking from the position of, we should be in charge. If we cannot get expatriate like you, we hire other Nigerians first. You know, if there's nobody where we cannot hire them on contract. And that till today, okay, they are still, I mean, I think that's where that particular, idea came from, that agenda came from, that today they are still working on. Look at the drama that took place with the PDP primaries. Very clearly, what his name, Governor Wike would have won that primaries. But what happened? The process was tambuarized. And today, Tambuwa is going to go down in history as, if Atiku become president, if anything makes him become president, Tambuwa will go down in history as the man who made it possible, because they are thinking ahead. And I think that even Tambuwa being in the race was planted to get that, to orchestrate that particular process. So the Northerners come today to say APC should bring a certain candidate and all of that. I think it is well orchestrated. At the end of the day, there's going to be a convergence of these Northerners that are, are divided politically and all of that, to chase down that one purpose, which is ensure the continued hegemony of the Fulanese. And yet we as here, we are not cooperating as Southerners. We are not even discussing. We are not looking at, everybody's being selfish. I think Dr. Barrister is Barrister, can you hear me, sir?
Barrister, can you hear us? Yeah. Barrister, can you hear us?
I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me too?
Oh, very good. Yeah, we can hear you.
So Correlante had to do some analysis when you went off network. So coming back to you, pharmacists, you need to ask the barrister a question. We are looking at this 2023, all these primaries now. So we want you to bring the barrister back on.
I think Correlante was trying to ask a question, but I'm glad you've thrown that to me. Let me also say that I understand the position of Correlante with this whole issue, but I just want to pray and hope our country cannot survive with another northern president. No way. And in the words of Zebudaya, far.
Oh.
Stand in clear terms to support what the Barrister Osa director said. There is no way Atiku will win, no matter the connotation. They should just tell us that Nigeria should not exist and let us go. We cannot go one northerner to another. No way. Let the worst and the not prepared person in the South become president. It will not and shouldn't happen. Barrister Osa director, Correlante also asked a question that was lost in transit. Obedient, or are you looking at another candidate? We are not delegates. Are you obedient at the moment, or you think obedient might not be a reality?
Well, before I quickly answer that, I want to strengthen what you said. Atiku cannot win. He has a record. He's always failing, and he will fail again. It's not, he can't win this election. And like I said, if he wins and there is a dismemberment of this country, we should hold the desperation of Atiku and Tambuwa responsible. Because I thought Tambuwa was a young man, of my generation, but I never knew that he was still tied to the cleavages that divide this nation.
But let me just drop something in while you are talking. I overheard that Tambuwa has just won the senatorial seat. Another
yes,
state.
it was planned otherwise. Those of us in the know knew. In fairness, the guy had told them that he always wanted to go to the Senate, so that if his party wins, he will get the highest office in the Senate. Maybe, God forbid, if Atiku wins, he becomes the Senate president. He's going to become the Senate president in his backyard in Sokoto there. Because I'm very, very disappointed in Tambuwa. Because as a person, he has a...
We lost connection with Barrister outside the record. Yes, go on, sir.
Barrister Osa Director is very highly authorized.
He is.
He was making a very sound point.
Yes. Barrister, can you go on, sir? I think he's really having challenges with his network. These are part of the problems in Nigeria. This is just internet.
Dr. Agbons, while we are discussing 2023,
yes.
my issue is
with article. All he did was for.
But Barrister, you may have to log out and log back in because we are not able to piece them together. The line is breaking seriously.
No, log out and log back in, sir.
Yeah, because we cannot piece your words together at all.
I was just enjoying that line of thoughts as he was.
Yes, it was really hitting me.
Dr. Admons, I think my question right now, look, man, we are highly obedient, okay? Peter Obi is the next president by every same calculation right now. But my issue is,
would there be a Nigeria?
These skirmishes of things happening right now, are you sure we are going to have 2023? But that is where I am calling on the southern governors, not just the western governors. You understand what I'm saying now? The whole of South right now, these guys are getting average of 700 million monthly as security votes. Who says the southern governors cannot come together under one, a security outfit to defend the entire South?
But the politics will not allow them to do it. That is the thing.
That is what I'm saying.
They are betraying each other.
Sir, that's the point I'm making right now. Have they not already override, Sir, Dr. Barrister, are you there, sir?
Are you hearing me?
We are hearing you now.
You are hearing me?
But if you can log out and then leave the meeting, then log in again.
Okay.
Go on, Comrade Lampton.
I think the problem really is, okay, the issue of even this Amotekun, this small regional security outfit right now, it is not constitutional.
No.
It means that they've gone beyond whatever the provisions of the law says, okay, to try to do what they have to do. Because when you look at it, my brother, the primary duty of a governor is the protection. The governor is the security
of life and property.
Of his own state. Yes. So which means that they are within the ambit of the law to do what they want, what they need to do. Which bush is in those states that cannot be combed by a proper security apparatus?
None.
There is none.
Yeah.
Coming to Edo State, because they said, when the eye shed tears, the nose is not left out. It has happened to Edo State now. I will not be surprised if it's happening in Edo State tomorrow or any other place that matter. You know what I'm saying now? I think that Amotekun need to go under, the law of Ondo State.
Yes.
Properly. You understand what I'm saying? Like, legitimize the workers put on that payroll in Edo State at the moment. We need to regularize our own Edo security network, put the workers on that payroll, make it more attractive. Not now that we're even hearing that some of them are going on strike because they don't have enough government support and all of that. We need to stabilize, because my brother, the entire nation right now is under siege.
Okay, are you hearing me now?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so like I said, Tambawa is a disgrace to my generation, because he had a closer personal relationship with Wike than he had with Atiku. So all he did was for the sake of ethnicity and religion. And that's a big shame to Tambawa, And I know that whenever it comes up for a national election in this country, it's going to be worsted by the South, I actually felt shocked, as they say in Benden Palace. These people get mind though. I don't know, I didn't know that a Tambo and Atiku will have the guts to say they want to contest for presidency after 8 years of presidency in the North. It is not that you and I are interested in where the president comes from, but we cannot run away from the peculiarities of our environment. And no nation develops without a classic and sophisticated elite class. A nation moves forward or develop with elite consensus. And there was an elite consensus in this country after the political mishap of 1993 that from 1999, let there be power rotation between the North and the South. And then you have Tambuwal and Atiku telling us that because PDP is not in power, I'm quoting Tambuwal now, because PDP is not in power, they can feed any person. Let them just grab power first and later come and share. What are they sharing? When you are already holding the handle of the knife as a president, what do you want to share with somebody? You know? So I felt very, very disappointed. And I can assure you, you'll be shocked. No matter the criticism of President Buhari, he's not going to allow APC to pick a northern candidate. That is the truth. It can happen. And any candidate that, yes, go ahead.
Barrister, let me just interject you here, sir. And this is where some of us are fighting some danger. With Peter Obi looking very strong at the moment, there's a movement, a momentum about him, high velocity about Peter Obi. Now the APC bringing out a southern candidate. Don't you think that there's going to be a vote split and then Atiku may just sneak in from the back door?
That is it can happen, but that's a possibility. Yes, in terms of analysis. But don't also forget a Kwankwaso wasn't strong in the north. If you have heard of the Kwankwasia movement, the red cap people, you know, don't forget that in 2015, Kwankwaso floored Atiku in Lagos. Kwankwaso actually came second to Buhari in that election. In the APC primary, it was Buhari, Kwankwaso, then Atiku. Kwankwaso is like the landlord of Kano. So there's no way when Atiku says he has 11 million votes in his pocket, it will remain inside his pocket and unutilized, you know, because he's not going to even get, Kwankwaso has even gotten an interview. He's not going to get that 11 million votes now. It's not possible. Because Kwankwaso is going to grab Kano, he's going to slice a portion of
Sir, are we having Kwankwaso run with Peter Obi? Is that the permutation?
No, you know they were supposed to do that. You know, Kwankwaso has his party that he has formed, NNPP.
Yes.
Peter Obi was the first place he went when he left the PDP. Although in fairness to Peter Obi, said they never discussed anything like that. But the rumor was that Kwankwaso offered him the vice presidential candidate. Of course, you know, Obi would not accept. He was VP to Atiku the other time. Why should he be a VP again when they are saying it's time for the East?
Sorry, sir, just to interject. Is NNPP registered by INEC? Because that's the problem that they are not registered by INEC.
They are. And the guy is wasn't strong in the north.
Okay.
So you see,
but Barrister, don't you think in the spirit of a southern presidency, more so a southeastern presidency, don't you think that we in the south we also shot ourselves in the foot? Why was it that Wike, the River State governor, will not back an Obi in the PDP before all these things happen? What is your take on that, sir?
Yeah, they should have backed an Obi, but you see, I wrote an article titled Zoning Between Ambition and National Interest. The summary was that I rooted for a southeastern government. I'm a southeastern president. Not that it was comfortable for me. I'm a registered member of APC. I have most of my friends in APC, you know, and some of my friends in PDP who are from Southwest and South-South. That on sentiments, I wanted to go to Southwest or South-South, but that a man cannot say his principle until he's able to take decisions that are inconvenient to him, you know, but that decision is taken in the interest of justice, fairness, equity, and fair play. That was why I said, let the thing go to the Southeast. And what was my permutation? That look, let's forget the years of the military. Let's only concentrate on the years of civilian rule. I don't call it democracy either. You know, that for it is intellectual misnomer and fraud for people to always say that power has never gone to the Northeast. Are you telling me that Nigeria became a country in 1999? No. Power was in the Northeast, in Bauchi State, from 1960 to 1966. Tafawa Balewa was the Prime Minister of Nigeria. So for that, Northeast has been taken care of, so to say. And you have Southwest, Obasanjo, you have South-South, what's his name, Goodluck Jonathan, West. So the two people remain now is now North Central and Southeast. And as since power is coming to the South, it should go to the Southeast. And as far as I'm concerned, that a zone does not necessarily need to do 8 years. Your second term is determined by your performance in office. So, but once a zone is able to do 4 years, you can no longer complain that you have not tested it. It is your failure that you could not get a second term. And that within 8 years, this thing will go wrong. Now, Southeast, North Central. And then it cannot be thrown open. Just like what I want to happen in Edo State. That in 2024, let it go to Edo Central. After that, you cannot throw governorship position in Edo State open because the 3 zones have had it. You know, the 2 senatorial district. So that was my analysis about this Southeast district. But look at what happened in PDP election. Do you know the biggest fish out of Southeast was Aye Pius Aye? He got only 14 votes. Those are the votes of delegates from Ebonyi. The other eastern states voted for Atiku. What a shame. And you want me to back them? You are not backing yourself. You are not helping yourself. They drove Obi to be away from PDP. They said it was spearheaded by his brothers in PDP. And that's why I took up. So these are, you might call it sentiments or flabby sentiments, but these are realities. You know, even I've had intellectuals from the Southeast saying that, look, they have not prepared themselves to really ask for this power in this 2023. Obi is undoubtedly a brilliant and viable and vibrant candidate. But the odds are stacked against him because you can see that the whole youth are mobilized for him. But which youth? The Southern youths. Have you been able to have a handshake across the Niger? Have you been able to have a handshake to our northern brethren for the youth to key in? If you don't, then it's going to be a waste of time.
Barrister, I want to, sorry, sir, I'm going to ask you a question right now, but on that matter of Obi, you know, and you know, the movement, especially to the north and all of that, we are in the month of June. I'm very sure that before December, all things being equal, Obi will be rolling, you know, the airwaves and everywhere, you know, on ground and in the air, and so. Even in the sea, across Nigeria, whether north, south, west, or wherever. But sir, the question I want to ask is this: this is 2023 we are discussing right now, and the transition, hopefully, to a, you know, to the birth of a new Nigeria, you know, a Nigeria that will be in Renaissance. The question I want to ask now is, given the state of insecurity right now, particularly right now in the heartland of the South, there's a big war that's taking place right now in the West, you know, today, a church being, you know, blown and terrorists of the Fulani extraction attacking, you know, Nigerians in the South. And we already seen skirmishes of this happening everywhere. In Edo State local government of Orion, we've been hearing stories and, of course, evidence of attack, you know, a pocket of attacks here and there, allegedly carried out by Fulanis and Fulani headsmen and the Fulani terrorists and all of that. Given all this, if this become elaborate, particularly as some people have alluded to, you know, somebody like, I did make reference to, what's his name, late Obadiah, who told Nigerians over 2-3 years ago that these are some of the plans of some of these Fulanis, you know, to take over the land in the South. Given this insecurity, are you sure there's a possibility that 2023 will come?
Well, let me just be simple. There's a possibility that 2023 might not happen if there's intense insecurity. And of course, you have different conspiracy theory. There are some theories that say, well, it is deliberate and orchestrated to ensure that 2023 does not happen, you know. And I will not be surprised that if the insecurity continues, 2023 will not happen. But we hope it doesn't degenerate to that extent. And I also pray and hope that our brothers in the Southwest who show the light with their resistance movement of Amoteco should intensify this defense system. You can see that even in our state, Edo State, where is our security network? In the South, it was the governor of Delta that hosted the first Southern governors meeting, calling for a Southern governors. Go and ask him who instructed Delta delegates to vote for during the PDP election. So my brother, you know, it is so sad that we always leave ourselves vulnerable. And then you and I will come and be pontificating and analyzing. But those who are holding position of leadership, they are always ready to compromise in their self-interest and self-promotion.
Barrister, sorry, Dr. Agmonso, just a follow-up. Barrister, thank you very much for what you have said now. A follow-up question, particularly with this line of discourse right now. Given what is happening right now, okay, you've already, you've already enjoined the Nigerians in the Southwest to do more to strengthen and motivate and all of that. What should the entire Nigerian Southern governors, political elites, and everybody, what should we start doing right now to protect this agenda, if there is one, to make 2023 not come? Should be the responsibility of the governors? And if they fail in that, what should the Southerners, the ordinary people of the South, start doing?
Well, I will advise that the Southern governors should have a sense of purpose and cohesion. Like when they issue their statement of let there be a Southern governor, when they met in their Sabbath declaration and Lagos.
Southern president.
Yes, Southern president, yeah. I was very impressed, because for the first time they are going to speak with one voice. And you discover that, after the election of Atiku Abubakar, there was speculation that Lawan was going to pick up the ticket in APC to go to the north. But you saw that Governor Akeredolu kept insisting, even up till about 2 days ago, that APC dare not and should not. And just yesterday, so the credit of our Northern brothers, the Northern governors, APC governors, had a meeting and issued a press release that the presidency of APC should be zoned to the South. So that means if the governors are cohesive and insist, they will have their way. So it is not left for the Southern governors to know that, like the Benin say, that they know that this thing is happening. Let them be cohesive. Amoteku is there, is strengthened. Then the South, you also have their own and strengthen it. And then they collaborate, and ensure that there is a protection of the territorial integrity of their states, because the first and fundamental primary assignment of a government is protection of lives and property. It's constitutionally guaranteed. So I think that is what they should do. And the ordinary people should be sensitized. The NGOs and media like yourself must make sure our grassroots are told, that this is what is happening, and this is why we must ensure that we protect ourselves. But for me, there must be, when you attack a man, you don't deny him the right of self-defense. So we should all be prepared in case, just in case. But I hope and pray never gets to that extent.
Thank you very much. We're rounding up now. Pharmacist, one final question for the barrister so that we round up the show for today.
Thank you very much, Barrister. I think we really enjoyed the show. It's unfortunate that Networks was playing up earlier on. I've really enjoyed all your deposition. Concerning the issue you said, because it is good for savvy men not to run away from politics, I would want to encourage you and to ask, will you still go back to Edo State to see if you can try to make inroad into politics, because we need men of valor like you?
Thank you very much for your encouragement. The truth is that every man is a political animal. Politics is my life. My life is politics. Because when you are committed to service, it's interpreted as politics. I'm committed to the service of my people. We will continue to do our interview. As a matter of fact, we are always meeting with like-minded to see how we can beat this monetization of politics and take over the political atmosphere in Edo State. I will still be involved in politics by the grace of God.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barrister. And one final question. I know how busy you are. Most times I try to call you and all that, though you always respond. How do you unwind, sir? Is it just about reading books and just writing?
Are you telling him how you unwinds?
Unwind.
In short, comrade is asking you, are you telling an elder how to unwind?
No. Comrade, don't come and put me in trouble. I don't have money to buy cola for a pound.
Is that you are my younger one, you know me very well. You are just asking this thing for the purpose of public
public consumption.
Yeah, not that you don't know, you know very well. You know more than I know. Well, I think my
please,
best.
People are sending me messages. They said, "Are you contesting?" Please, maybe we'll stop flashing this picture. This is when the barrister contested in 2011 under the ACN. So he's not contesting now. My phone is full here. When we come, we will stop.
Yeah.
So people don't get a wrong message.
Yes, yes. So I went by reading and writing, and then I just solitary walking. You know what, as people call civil soliloquy. You know, so that's it. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't think I womanize.
So comrade, your last words to the barrister.
Barrister, I want to, on behalf of the team, I want to thank you, and I believe very strongly that this one is not going to be a one-off, arrangement. We're going to have cause to bring you back on this program. Unfortunately, the Nigerian network behave like Nigeria today. Hopefully, we get it better. But I want to appeal to you that when we call on you again, sir, please oblige us, because people like you that have contributed so much, to the struggle, made huge contributions, huge sacrifices, and all of that. We still need you people to be a voice, a very strong voice for the voiceless. And I just don't know what last word you may have right now for the people of those states who are grieving and Nigerians.
Yes, I would just say, like Justin said, let's always be committed to serve as a vehicle to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, and encouragement to the downtrodden, and leave them out of their state of despair, and know that at the end of the day, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, even though the tunnel is becoming too long.
Yeah. Thank you
very
much.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Ekme, OSA Director, a true son of Edo State and Nigeria, and somebody who have been, in the political space for decades now, right from his days of student unionism at University of Benin, in the north of Nigeria, and then when he moved to the southwest in Nigeria. So we thank you, sir, for all you are doing for humanity, and a lot you are doing that you're always working behind the scene. So we really thank you for, we know we've eaten deep into your time, beyond the time we agreed for today's program. And like Comrade Lantic also said, we'll probably bring you back another time for you to speak to our people. So I want to apologize for our viewers. The barrister had to take off his video and to improve his bandwidth. And I saw the message you sent to me on my mobile. You're going to change your modem as well, so that to improve the internet connectivity. Like Comrade said, this is the problem with Nigeria. A lot of these things are epileptic. So we just hope that we get it right in 2023. That is why most of us, including myself, we are unrepentantly obedient. And we are going to push and do all we can to change the narrative, and make sure that we, the people, actually become the structure that political actors can use to get into office. So, pharmacist, one last word before I round up.
I just want to join the team to thank OSA Director for his expertise today and for taking us down memory lane. To our viewers, we say thank you so much for joining us. Keep a date with us. We'll see you again, hopefully, next Sunday. Stay out of trouble.
Thank you so much, Pharmacist Iramira. And just on this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it again. We'll see you when we see you next week, by the grace of God. Bye.
Okay, you have left now. Where's it showing green?
Comrade Lamptey Oriente, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Commerce Show.